this by no means is my collection of favorites necessarily, but it's just a collection of physical copies that I have. So I thought it would make for a good, relaxing ASMR video, and since I haven't been on here for over a month, I felt like it'd be a good little palette cleanser, a restart, if you will. So I got a couple of games here that I can talk about and show off, and just sit back, relax, and feel free to close your eyes. You don't need to have them open. Just listen to the sound of my voice and me talking about some of these games. So let's get started. First game that I have here is Demon Souls. Now, if you've ever played a Souls game, you know that it's quite an experience in of itself. There is probably, as far as I can tell, no other type of game, no other developer that makes more difficult games than From Software. They make some of the hardest games that I've ever played, and Demon Souls is the first in that series. This, of course, is a re-release on the PS5. Not a remaster, what would you call it? They took the original Demon Souls and they remade it. It's a remake. And basically these games are, it's kind of like an action RPG style of game where you go from map to map, level to level, killing monsters, bosses, while you're trying to level up your character. But it's really more about mastering the game's mechanics more so than it is about getting physically stronger. You are getting stronger, and if you level your character up, you will definitely have an easier time in the game, but it's definitely more about you as the player getting better at the game. So, I haven't finished this game because I got Elden Ring, which I can't show off because it's a digital copy, but I got Elden Ring and I was playing that. And that's been taking a large chunk of my time because it's a rather long and expansive game. So I kind of took a break from this, but I am planning to go back, and my plan is to play this after Elden Ring and then play the original Dark Souls trilogy in order. I might skip 2 because I haven't heard good things about it, but you know, that's the plan. But so this is Elden Ring. Let me pop this bad boy over here. Excuse me, Demon Souls, not Elden Ring. Next I have here is one of my favorite games of all time, actually, and that is Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2. This is the second game in the Red Dead series. Technically, it is a prequel, because it takes place before the first game, where you play as Arthur Morgan. It's essentially Grand Theft Auto in the Wild West. And it's a RPG that's very story driven. Third person. You don't really make decisions, you just kind of follow Arthur's story and his narrative. As part of the Dutch Vanderland gang, trying to make it as outlaws in a world where, you know, the Wild West is dying. This is the end of the 1800s, and cowboys and lawlessness is kind of going away very, very slowly. And so they're trying to hold on to their way of life and everything that it entails. You know, they're very much against being part of civilization. You know, they're not a fan of it. All the rules and such. So it's about them coming to grips with that, as well as the conflict within the gang. And on the back, the synopsis says, America, 1899, the end of the Wild West era has begun. After a robbery goes badly wrong in the western town of Blackwater, Arthur Morgan sums it up, I would say. Fantastic game. Highly recommend. If there's any game on this list that I would recommend playing, it is definitely Red Dead Redemption 2. If you can get a copy of the first game, I recommend playing that one as well. So, the next game I have here is called the Nonary Games. This is actually 2 games in one. And the best way that I can describe these games is they're kind of like a visual novel. It's like a visual novel where you make decisions, and based on your decisions, the story kind of splits into different trees, different pathways. The story kind of centers around that as well, so it's not just branching decision trees. It's built into the story that the reason why you can make these alternate decisions is to do with this psychological phenomenon, shall we say. But basically, a bunch of characters get kidnapped and they're thrown into a game where they must solve puzzles in a room, like escape games. That's essentially what they are, in order to escape the entire game. So, the back of the game says, a mysterious kidnapping, a deadly game. Can you survive long enough to escape? 2 Nonary Games, 2 sets of 9 unwilling participants kidnapped to an unfamiliar location. 1 set trapped on a sinking boat with 9 hours to escape, and the other locked in a facility and forced to either trust or betray each other. If they break the rules or fail to escape, they'll die. Why were they chosen to play the game? Who is this enigmatic Zero? Nothing is as it seems. They'll desperately fight for survival in this deadly game of life or death. Zero is the person that kidnaps them, by the way, in both the situations. But this is a fantastic game. It's very story driven. There's not a lot of like action, traditional action anyway. There's a lot of like narrative drama, and the action is definitely in the form of the narrative, but you're not physically doing anything when you're playing this game that's action related, I would say. But if you're looking for a really good story, this is another good option, for sure. For sure. The next game I have here is Kingdom Hearts 3. When I originally played the first 2 Kingdom Hearts games, I played the first 2 in the year 2006, I believe. I got both games that year. I had never played, and I played through both. And I remember thinking, how long is it going to take for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out? And that was 2006, and I think this game came out in 2019, I believe, so that was over 15, was that 15 years? 16, yeah. So, over a decade later, they finally came out with Kingdom Hearts 3, and I wouldn't say that it didn't live up to the hype, but I think that the gap between the games was so large that I kind of almost was, like, the story is very confusing just by default. A lot of people have said this. It's very convoluted, but I think the gap between the second game and the third game was so large that I kind of just, like, forgot a lot of what the heck was going on. So, it didn't really hit that same emotional sort of chord that the first 2 games did. Granted, admittedly, I was also much older playing this, right? So, compared to when I think I was like 13 when I played the first and second game, and, playing the third game, I was 27. So, it's a big difference in maturity and mentality, so it's obviously not going to have the same sort of impact. But nostalgia definitely would give it the benefit of the doubt, and I don't know, I just felt like it was just okay, but it didn't really hit the same way that the first 2 games did, for sure. So, and I think it took too long, but it's still a fun game to play, there's definitely nothing wrong with it in PlayStation 3, and I think they've remastered this already for the PlayStation 4 and the 5, so you could probably get it on one of the newer systems if you want. But this game is about the story of a man and a young girl trying to survive in post-apocalyptic America. Zombie outbreak, and he lost his daughter, and she's kind of like his surrogate daughter, basically, and it's the story of them trying to navigate this landscape. The zombies, the gangs of roaming bandits, and all of that stuff. The game says here on the back, though, Joel and Ellie, brought together by harsh circumstance, must survive a brutal journey across the U.S. in a dangerous post-pandemic world. That's about all it says. But, yeah, it's a great game, narrative-wise. And if you want a good story-driven game, this is always a good option. And what I really like about this game is that they don't make the zombies an afterthought like so many of these other games. They're dangerous, they evolve, they have different forms. This is a unique zombie game because whenever you play these types of games, a lot of times it's one or the other. You know, they either focus too much on the drama or too much on the zombies. It's not, you know, a mixture, and this is kind of a little bit of both. There's still a thread, and that makes the game a lot of fun. So, definitely check this game out if you have the time. Next game I have here is Red Dead Redemption, the original, for the PlayStation 3. I don't know if you can get this for the newer systems, but going back to what I was talking about with Red Dead 2, this is the first game in the series, but technically a sequel, if that makes sense. This takes place about 10, 11 years after the second game, the prequel. And this follows John Marston after the events of Red Dead Redemption 2. So, my memory of this one isn't as fresh, but basically, it's kind of the same sort of narrative where now you're still a cowboy, but instead of working with the Vanderlyn gang, you're actually trying to hunt down all of the members of the Vanderlyn gang. The story of the prequel sets all the events up that lead to this point where John's kind of like fed up with all of them and he's trying to get rid of them. So, the synopsis in the back says, America, 1911, the Wild West is dying. When federal agents threaten his family, former outlaw John Marston is forced to pick up his guns again and hunt down the gang of criminals he once called his friends. Experience an epic fight for survival across the sprawling expanse of the American West and Mexico, as John Marston struggles to bury his blood-stained past one man at a time. So, this is another like fantastic game to play. I believe it came out in like 2010, so it still kind of holds up. I mean, it's a little bit dated in terms of some aspects of the gameplay, but you're still going to be able to play this and not feel like you're playing, you know, an ancient game from, you know, prehistoric times. So definitely check this out if you can. Next, I have here Super Smash Brothers for the Nintendo Switch. Not much that I can really say about this game other than it's a Super Smash game. It's fun. You know, it's a fun little beat 'em up type of game that you can check out. I used to play the original on Nintendo 64 when I was a kid, and that was a lot of fun. And this basically is more of that, but on a much grander scale. You've got over 100 different characters, I believe. It says 70 fighters here, but with the DLC and everything, all of the, you know, new additions to the game, they've definitely got over 100 different characters. You can pick 100 different stages, and it's a fun game to just play with family, friends. You know, you can pick everyone from Pikachu to Mario to Donkey Kong, Bowser. You know, they've got a bunch of guys from various different games, Final Fantasy, etc. So you can't really go wrong if you want just a fun little, you know, fighting game to play. enjoying it for the, brief moment that I was playing it. And basically what this game is, it's a turn-based strategy game where you are taking on the role of a professor leading a class of students in an academy where they're learning how to fight, basically. Kind of set in sort of a medieval time period. And, you go on missions with your class and run into bandits, enemies that you fight. But you try to do it so in a tactical, strategic sort of way. So, back says here, it's a masterclass in war. The future leaders of Fodlan's 3 ruling houses have gathered at the prestigious Officers' Academy. As their newest professor, you must choose a side and teach them well. The fate of Fodlan is in your hands. So you get to choose between the 3 houses here. And each house that you can choose has a different storyline that it branches off into. So that gives you 3 different, basically, narrative experiences that you can kind of go through, which is pretty cool. I have 2 more games here. This is one of my favorites of all time, actually. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Man, they used to really, these cases used to be quite crazy, huh? Look at the size of this thing. It's huge compared to these these newer games, rather. But look at this. Open this up. Let me open this up. Look at this. It used to be, you'd get like a booklet. Now, like most games, they don't give you booklets anymore because they just assume you're going to look it up online. But you get a booklet, and the booklet would actually give you, like, information. So check this out. I'm going to try to take it out real quick here so I can show you guys, but the booklet would, like, have, you can see here, if I open it up, it would have, like, moves. It would tell you how to actually play the game inside of the booklet, and it would give you, like, little guides on the rules of different modes, and, like, it was an actual, like, they gave you, like, an actual guide on how to play. I mean, don't get me wrong, I never ever read this in my life, never opened it, never cared, but, like, I was a kid. I think as an adult, I would probably appreciate it more, because you're just getting more bang for your buck, so to speak. But, yeah, it used to be kind of interesting, and you would need, for the PlayStation 2, you'd need a memory card, right? So they'd give you, like, a little slot here to put your memory card in for some reason. I don't know why, but I just thought that was interesting. But, yeah, this is Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. It's a fighting game, one of my favorites of all time. I have put so many hours into this. I love Dragon Ball Z in general, as you guys know, but I remember getting this game for the PlayStation 2, and it didn't have a memory card, so I'd have to constantly restart every time I played. Good times. But, yeah, I don't need to say much about this, because you guys kind of all know, most of you know what Dragon Ball Z is all about. It's a fighting game with the Dragon Ball Z characters in the Dragon Ball Z universe. Have a lot of fond memories of this, so can't play it anymore because I don't have a PlayStation 2, but I'll always have the memories. And my last game to show you guys here today is Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. This is just the next installment from that game that I showed you just now, Budokai 2. I think I enjoyed 2 a little bit better because I thought the storyline was more, had more of an RPG element because you could level up your characters and stuff. I don't know, this one didn't really have that aspect to it. They kind of streamlined it a little bit. I don't remember what they did exactly, but it wasn't really the same sort of customization experience, I would say. And let's pop this bad boy open. And, yep, we've got the booklet inside here, as you can see. This is like, I can make a whole video actually on PS2 games because I have a lot of them. Let me take the booklet out and we can kind of take a look real quick, since this is the last game here that I have to show you guys. So, that's funny, they've got a little promotion here for Godzilla on the back. 2004. That was a long time ago, but yeah. Check this out, they've got like special attacks, They even like added pictures. They really went all in. They used to really like pimp these out, you know, like it's crazy. When you compare it, you know, they used to like actually design these, and they would like really put in effort as if it was like an extra feature of the game, you know. And on the back they'd have all the like the credits. You can see all the voice actors and stuff, you know, so they'd add them there. And then they would have like a promotion for other content, you know. It's like a DVD, I believe. I don't think I've ever seen this, but I think I have seen this. But yeah, you've got the game, now get the guide. There's a promotion for the guide here too. And then they have a little this looks like it's a card that you can send in the mail to enter a contest. Let's see here. Get your free charter issue. Shonen Jump magazine, the blockbuster English language version of Japan's #1 action comic book every month, features 300 plus pages of the hottest manga titles available in the US, plus the latest on what's happening in cards, video games, toys, and more. So you can fill this out, and they would send you these Shonen Jump issues, which is pretty cool. I might have actually done it if I had actually opened this book up and looked and saw it, but since I didn't, you know, I had a short attention span. I used to have a subscription to, like, I don't remember what they were called, but they were like monthly Dragon Ball Z magazine issues. This must have been like 2001, 2002. You know, I was like 12, around 12. And I would get them in the mail monthly. I don't even remember what they had. It was just like a magazine with Dragon Ball Z news or something like that. I don't know. The story had already been completed by that point, so I don't know what these magazines were featuring, but damn, I wish I still had those. I don't know what I did with those, but those used to be cool. They had, like, you know, featured art on the cover every single month specifically for those magazines. So it wasn't just like stripped from the anime, it was actually designed for the magazine itself. And that was really cool. So I wonder what I did with that. I wonder if I can find that on the internet. Maybe they still have like old sort of issues that they uploaded to Amazon or eBay or something like that. Not upload, but you know, that they're selling. I don't know. I'll have to take a look. But yeah, that's all the games I have to show you guys today. I think I can definitely do another video in the future where I just show you guys some of the old PlayStation 2 games, because I think it's kind of like a nice little nostalgia trip down memory lane. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.